What if I told you that right now, as you're watching this, your brain is operating like a quantum radio receiver that Tesla himself would recognize? Most people walk around completely unaware that their consciousness functions as a broadcasting station, constantly transmitting electromagnetic signals that literally reshape the fabric of reality. But here's what nobody talks about. The reason your manifestations keep failing isn't because you lack willpower or faith. It's because you're broadcasting on static. Think about it. You've probably tried visualization, affirmations, maybe even meditation. Yet somehow, the life you want feels just out of reach. That's because you're missing the frequency calibration that Tesla discovered over a century ago. Your mind isn't just thinking thoughts. It's generating measurable electromagnetic fields that interact with the quantum substrate of existence itself. What you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you understand the relationship between your inner world and external circumstances. We're diving deep into the hidden science behind the observer effect and why your consciousness holds the master key to collapsing infinite possibilities into your desired reality. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon, because content like this doesn't show up in your regular feed unless you actively signal the algorithm that you want to go beyond surface-level spirituality into the real quantum physics of manifestation. Your spiritual awakening is about to get a massive upgrade through legitimate science. Let's unlock your inner Tesla. Your brain right now is processing roughly 400 billion bits of information per second. Yet you're only consciously aware of about 2,000 of them. What happened to the rest? Here's where it gets fascinating. Tesla discovered that this filtered information isn't lost. It's converted into electromagnetic patterns that your consciousness broadcasts into what he called the cosmic field. Every emotion, every focused thought, every moment of clarity generates a specific frequency signature that ripples outward, interacting with the quantum matrix surrounding you. Most people have no idea they're walking around as human transmission towers. Your pineal gland, that tiny pine cone-shaped structure buried deep in your brain, acts like a biological antenna system. Carl Jung wasn't being metaphorical when he called it the seat of the soul. Modern neuroscience is discovering that this gland contains magnetite crystals, the same mineral found in navigation systems. It's literally a quantum compass embedded in your skull. When you focus your attention with genuine intention, something remarkable happens that mirrors the double-slit experiment. Your concentrated awareness collapses wave functions of possibility into singular outcomes. But here's the catch that trips up 99% of people trying to manifest change. Your antenna needs to be tuned to the right frequency, or you're basically trying to pick up FM radio on an AM receiver. This is where the positive thinking movement completely misses the mark. Thinking positive thoughts while your emotional frequency broadcasts fear, doubt, or desperation is like trying to drive north while your steering wheel is locked pointing south. You might have the right destination in mind, but your internal navigation system is sending you somewhere completely different. Tesla understood that the vibrational law operates on precise electromagnetic principles. When he met Swami Vivekananda in the 1890s, something clicked. The ancient Vedic concepts of prana and akasha, life force and cosmic substance, aligned perfectly with his electromagnetic theories. Tesla realized that consciousness and electricity follow identical patterns. Your mind isn't separate from the physical world. It's an electrical phenomenon that can measurably influence matter. Let me show you how this works in practice. Think back to a time when you felt genuinely grateful. Not forced or artificial gratitude, but that deep appreciation that seemed to emanate from your chest. In that moment, your heart generated a coherent electromagnetic field that synchronized your brainwaves into what researchers call coherence. This isn't New Age speculation. HeartMath Institute has documented this phenomenon with scientific precision. Now contrast that with moments of anxiety or frustration. Notice how these emotions create a completely different physical sensation. Your heart rhythm becomes erratic, your breathing gets shallow, and your consciousness fragments into scattered frequencies. You're literally broadcasting chaos into the quantum field around you. Here's what Tesla discovered that changed everything. There are 3 primary frequency bands that govern manifestation. First, the acceptance frequency. This is your ability to be fully present with what currently exists without resistance. Second, the intention frequency, crystalline clarity about what you're creating. Third, the action frequency, consistent movement that maintains energetic momentum. Most people get stuck because they're only operating on 1 or 2 of these frequencies. They might have clear intentions, but resist their current circumstances, or they take action while being fuzzy about their actual desired outcome. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while 2 other stations are bleeding through. You get nothing but static. Let's run a practical experiment right now. Close your eyes for a moment and scan your body for any areas of tension or discomfort. Those physical sensations are electromagnetic signatures of stuck frequencies. Your body is essentially a biological feedback system, showing you exactly where your antenna needs adjustment. Tesla discovered that consciousness operates through standing wave patterns, stable vibrations that persist in space-time. When you maintain an emotion or thought pattern consistently, you create a standing wave that attracts corresponding experiences. People addicted to drama maintain standing waves of conflict that magnetize chaotic situations. People focused on growth create standing waves of expansion. The key insight here is persistence, not positive thinking, persistent vibrational alignment. This is why gratitude practices work, but only when they're genuine. Fake gratitude generates what scientists call incoherent heart rhythms that actually broadcast mixed signals to the quantum field. Your consciousness is constantly sending out what researchers call biophotons, actual light particles generated by your cells. When you're in coherent emotional states, these light emissions become organized and powerful. When you're scattered or negative, the light becomes chaotic and weak. You're literally dimming or brightening your electromagnetic presence based on your internal state. This connects directly to the observer effect in quantum physics. When scientists observe particles at the subatomic level, the particles change behavior. You are that observer in your own life. Every time you pay attention to something with focused awareness, you're collapsing quantum probabilities into definite outcomes. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your observation isn't passive, it's electromagnetically active. The moment you focus on something with genuine interest or desire, your pineal gland increases its electromagnetic output, literally beaming concentrated attention toward that target. This is measurable science, not metaphysical theory. Tesla realized that successful manifestation requires what he called electromagnetic declaration. Instead of hoping or wishing, you make definitive statements that align your entire nervous system behind a single frequency. When you declare something with absolute conviction, your body responds by generating coherent electromagnetic fields that broadcast that declaration into the quantum matrix. Try this right now. Think of something you want to create in your life. Instead of saying, "I hope this happens," or "I wish this would manifest," declare with absolute certainty, "This is happening now." Feel the difference in your body? That shift in physical sensation represents a shift in your electromagnetic output. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual experiences. This is why elite athletes use visualization. Their nervous systems literally rehearse success at the electromagnetic level. When you imagine your desired outcome with sufficient sensory detail and emotional intensity, you're creating neural pathways and electromagnetic patterns that pull you toward that reality. The holographic universe theory suggests that every part contains information about the whole. Your individual consciousness isn't separate from universal consciousness. It's a localized expression of the same electromagnetic field. When you align your personal frequency with the universal flow, you tap into resources and opportunities that seem to appear magically. This is why certain people seem naturally lucky. They're not special. They've simply learned to maintain electromagnetic patterns that resonate with opportunity and abundance. You can develop this same ability through consistent practice of what Tesla called conscious frequency modulation. Carl Jung mapped what he called archetypes, universal patterns embedded in the collective unconscious. These aren't just psychological concepts, they're electromagnetic templates that exist in the quantum field. When you consciously embody an archetype, like the creator, the leader, or the healer, you're tuning into pre-existing frequency patterns that carry tremendous creative power. Think about people who embody these roles naturally. They don't just think like leaders. They generate the electromagnetic signature of leadership that others instinctively recognize and respond to. This is why presence is more powerful than words. Why some people can walk into a room and immediately shift the energy. You have access to these same archetypal frequencies through conscious activation. When you declare, "I am the creator of my experience," while simultaneously feeling the truth of that statement in your body, you're literally downloading the electromagnetic template of the creator archetype. The Hermetic principles that influence Tesla state, "As above, so below." Your internal electromagnetic state, above, inevitably manifests as external circumstances below. This isn't philosophy, it's measurable cause and effect. Your emotional frequency literally broadcasts instructions to the quantum field about what experiences to deliver. Depression, for example, generates very specific brainwave patterns and electromagnetic signatures that tend to attract depressing circumstances. Joy generates completely different patterns that magnetize joyful experiences. This is why changing your circumstances requires changing your frequency first, not the other way around. Tesla understood that consciousness is humanity's most powerful technology. While everyone else was focused on external inventions, he was exploring the electromagnetic potential of human awareness itself. He knew that whoever mastered the science of consciousness would hold the keys to reshaping reality at will. You are that consciousness. You are that technology. The only question is whether you'll learn to use it consciously or continue broadcasting random frequencies and wondering why your life feels chaotic and unpredictable. Right now, As you absorb these concepts, multiple versions of your future self exist in what quantum physics calls superposition. Infinite potential timelines waiting for your consciousness to collapse them into singular reality. What most people don't realize is that you're constantly choosing which version of yourself to become through the electromagnetic frequencies you maintain moment by moment. Picture your consciousness like a master tuning fork that sets the resonance for everything in your experience. When you strike that fork with intention, it doesn't just vibrate, it causes every other tuning fork in the room to vibrate at the same frequency. Your life circumstances are simply tuning forks responding to whatever frequency your consciousness is broadcasting. But here's where it gets profound. Tesla discovered that these frequencies don't just influence your present. They actually reach backward and forward through time, reshaping both your memories and your future possibilities. This isn't science fiction. It's the natural consequence of existing in a quantum universe where time isn't linear but holographic. Your pineal gland functions as your personal time machine, capable of accessing what researchers call temporal non-locality. When properly activated, this tiny crystalline antenna can tune into the electromagnetic signatures of your highest potential futures and begin downloading those patterns into your current reality. Ancient cultures knew this instinctively. That's why they called the pineal the third eye and associated it with prophecy and divine vision. Let me walk you through a process Tesla used called electromagnetic archaeology. Every significant experience in your life has left an electromagnetic imprint in your nervous system. Traumatic experiences create what you might think of as frequency scars, distorted patterns that continuously broadcast limitation and fear into your quantum field. But peak experiences create what we could call frequency templates, coherent patterns that broadcast empowerment and possibility. Most people unconsciously replay their frequency scars, wondering why they keep attracting similar painful experiences. They're literally broadcasting historical trauma as current instruction to the universe. But when you learn to consciously access and amplify your frequency templates instead, you begin manifesting experiences that match your highest moments rather than your lowest wounds. This is where Carl Jung's concept of the unconscious becomes electromagnetically relevant. Your personal unconscious contains not just repressed memories, but dormant frequency patterns, potential aspects of yourself that haven't been activated yet. Jung called these archetypes, but they're more accurately described as electromagnetic blueprints for different ways of being human. When you consciously invoke an archetypal pattern, say the magician who transforms reality through focused will, you're not just adopting a psychological stance. You're literally tuning your nervous system to the electromagnetic frequency of that archetype. Your cells begin producing different proteins, your brain fires in new patterns, and your energy field broadcasts the unmistakable signature of transformation. Tesla understood that successful reality creation requires what he called vibrational persistence. It's not enough to think positively for a few minutes a day while maintaining your default frequency patterns the rest of the time. You need to cultivate what researchers now call baseline coherence, a sustained electromagnetic state that becomes your new normal. This is where most manifestation techniques fail. People try to override years of conditioned frequency patterns with occasional visualization sessions. It's like trying to change the course of a massive river with a small paddle. You need sustained hydraulic pressure applied consistently in the right direction. The solution involves creating what I call electromagnetic momentum. Instead of trying to completely flip your frequency overnight, you make incremental adjustments that compound over time. Think of it like gradually tuning a piano. You don't force the strings to the right pitch all at once. You make small, precise adjustments until the entire instrument resonates in harmony. Your daily environment plays a crucial role in this process. Tesla discovered that certain physical spaces naturally amplify consciousness, while others suppress it. He spent considerable time in his laboratory, not just because of the equipment, but because the space itself had been electromagnetically conditioned through repeated high-frequency experiments. You can create your own quantum laboratory, a designated space where you consistently practice frequency alignment. Over time, this space accumulates what physicists call morphic resonance. The repeated electromagnetic patterns you generate there begin to influence the local quantum field, making it easier to access elevated states of consciousness. This doesn't require elaborate equipment. Tesla's most important discoveries happened in his mind first, then manifested in the physical world. Your consciousness is the most sophisticated laboratory equipment ever created. The key is learning to use it with scientific precision rather than random hope. Consider the double-slit experiment from a personal perspective. When scientists aren't observing the particles, they behave like waves of probability. When scientists observe them, the waves collapse into definite particles. You are constantly running this experiment in your own life. Your focused attention literally collapses probability waves into concrete experiences. But here's the advanced application. You can learn to observe your own consciousness observing. This creates what researchers call meta-awareness, consciousness becoming conscious of its own creative process. In this state, you become capable of consciously directing the observer effect instead of unconsciously triggering it through random attention. Tesla practiced what he called conscious quarantine, periods where he deliberately isolated his consciousness from external electromagnetic influences to tune into more subtle frequencies. In our current world of Wi-Fi signals, cell towers, and electronic devices constantly bombarding us with artificial electromagnetic fields, this practice becomes even more crucial. During these quarantine periods, Tesla would enter what modern neuroscience recognizes as gamma brainwave states, frequencies above 40 Hz associated with heightened awareness and breakthrough insights. These aren't just altered states of consciousness. They're measurable changes in your brain's electromagnetic output that dramatically increase your influence on the quantum field. Your emotional state during these practices matters more than the specific technique you use. Tesla discovered that emotions aren't just feelings. They're electromagnetic broadcasts that carry information about your intentions into the quantum substrate. Gratitude, for example, generates heart coherence patterns that literally organize the electromagnetic chaos around you into beneficial opportunities. But forced gratitude backfires because your nervous system recognizes the incongruence and broadcasts mixed signals. The solution is what Tesla called electromagnetic authenticity, aligning your internal frequency with genuinely felt appreciation for what's already working in your life, then using that coherent state as a launching platform for higher possibilities. The Hermetic principles provide a practical framework for understanding how personal electromagnetic changes create external results. as above, so below isn't mystical poetry. It's a description of how internal coherence patterns inevitably express themselves as external circumstances. Your inside and outside worlds are electromagnetically linked. Everything vibrates, describes the fundamental frequency nature of all matter. Everything has polarity, explains why you need to maintain positive and negative electromagnetic poles in balance. Too much positive without grounding creates instability. Too much negative without elevation creates stagnation. Natural cycles provide amplification opportunities for conscious frequency work. New moons create gravitational conditions that enhance pineal gland sensitivity. Full moons generate electromagnetic fields that amplify whatever frequency you're already broadcasting. Solar events like flares and eclipses create temporary windows where the normal electromagnetic background noise quiets, allowing more subtle frequencies to penetrate. Tesla timed his most important experiments around these natural cycles, understanding that consciousness doesn't exist in isolation, but is part of a vast electromagnetic ecosystem. Learning to surf these cosmic rhythms rather than fighting against them multiplies your manifestation capacity exponentially. The concept of parallel timelines becomes practical when you realize that every choice you make is essentially selecting which electromagnetic frequency to tune into. Each frequency corresponds to a different version of your life. High-frequency choices lead to high-frequency timelines. Low-frequency choices lead to low-frequency timelines. Most people make choices based on immediate circumstances rather than frequency consequences. They choose the job that pays more money without considering whether that choice raises or lowers their baseline frequency. They choose relationships based on convenience without recognizing the electromagnetic influence of their partner's consciousness on their own development. Conscious creators make choices based on frequency first, trusting that when they maintain coherent electromagnetic patterns, the external details arrange themselves beneficially. This isn't blind faith, it's applied quantum physics. When your consciousness broadcasts clear, coherent instructions to the quantum field, the field responds with corresponding organizational patterns in physical reality. Your thoughts aren't separate from the quantum field. They arise from it and influence it simultaneously. This is why Tesla could visualize his inventions in complete detail before building them physically. His consciousness was interfacing directly with the electromagnetic templates that govern how energy becomes matter. You have this same capacity every time you imagine something vividly enough to feel it in your body. You're creating neural pathways and electromagnetic patterns that pull that possibility toward manifestation. The more sensory detail and authentic emotion you can generate around your desired outcome, the stronger the electromagnetic template you're creating in the quantum field. This is the real secret behind visualization techniques that actually work. It's not about forcing positive images into your mind while your body broadcasts doubt and fear. It's about generating such genuine excitement and anticipation about your desired reality that your entire nervous system aligns behind that frequency and begins broadcasting it as current truth rather than future hope. Tesla understood that consciousness is humanity's ultimate technology for reshaping reality. While everyone else was focused on manipulating matter directly, he was exploring how to work with the electromagnetic source code that determines how matter arranges itself. He knew that mastering consciousness meant mastering the fundamental creative force of existence itself. You are walking around with this same technology. The question isn't whether you have the power. You're already using it, constantly, mostly unconsciously. The question is whether you'll learn to direct this power, consciously, toward outcomes that serve your highest evolution, or continue broadcasting random electromagnetic patterns and wondering why your life feels unpredictable and chaotic. The electromagnetic breakthrough you've just experienced is only the beginning. There's another frequency waiting to be unlocked, one that amplifies your consciousness beyond anything we've explored today. While your quantum antenna integrates these discoveries, keep your eyes on the next video recommendation that'll appear on your screen. It might hold the missing piece that transforms your understanding of the observer effect completely. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.